Alex Wilson from Reform UK, London Assembly. Very good morning to you, sir.
Hi Mike, how you doing?
I'm all right. I mean, I'm wondering why, as is Nigel Farage wondering why, Keir Starmer's so obsessed with him. But he really does seem to be, doesn't he?
Yeah, he obsessed is the right word. I mean, the press conference yesterday, the speech, yeah, I think he mentioned Nigel's name 16
Yeah,
times,
it is.
in a fairly short space of time. Nigel's clearly living rent free in Keir Starmer's head, and he's terrified of Nigel, and he's terrified of reform. And to be honest, he's got every reason to be terrified. You look at the polling, you look at those results in the local elections, the Runcorn and Helsby by-election. Labour are running scared. And they deserve to be running scared because the damage they're doing as a government, less than a year into its term, I don't remember ever there being a government that's lost the confidence of the public so quickly as this one. Normally, new government comes in, they have a honeymoon, they get on with stuff. This has been a disaster from day one, and we're counting down the clock now until we have a chance to get him out.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing, there's nobody left in the room that's got a good thing to say about Keir Starmer. There's nothing that you can say this morning that is going to, I don't think, bring them back from the dead. To make things matters worse, I suppose, there's only one other story, which is on the front page of the Telegraph and the Times today. The Attorney General, Lord Hermer, basically comparing anybody who wants to leave the ECHR to Nazis.
That's utterly absurd. When you've lost the argument, when you've got nothing else to say, you resort to name calling, and that seems to be what Lord Hermer has decided to do now. Let's not forget who this individual is, the clients that he's represented. Jerry Adams, various organisations representing illegal migrants and terrorist suspects. That's whose side he's on. We're on the side of the hard-working British taxpayer who has to pay for all this and actually wants a fair deal for us in the first place, rather than shilling for anybody who seems to be against the interests of this country.
Yeah, exactly right, because we've got our migrant of the day story today is a drug dealer from Pakistan who cannot be deported back to Pakistan because he wants to teach his son about Islam.
Yeah, and it's a succession of these stories, day after day after day, and that shows why we absolutely have to get a grip on this issue. We have to leave the ECHR, reform the Human Rights Act, and make it so that our system, our borders, our judiciary, everything that we rely on to try and keep our citizens safe is working in the interest of British citizens and not of those who are working against us. And it's a terrible mess. It was bad enough under the Tories. It's getting worse under Labour. We need a new party to come forward and say we actually have the courage to tackle this, have a separate department that's responsible for border security, leave the ECHR, give us the legal powers to do this, and anybody who wants to get in the way will get out the way. We need to protect this country first.
Well, this is it. This guy, Mohammed Asif Karim, committed 21 offences after arriving on a visa to visit the UK in 1998. He's never gone home. 1998, that's 27 years ago, right? He's now 43. He was jailed for 4 years for possessing heroin and cocaine with intent to supply, was allowed to remain in this country after the prosecutions made him a witness in a murder trial. He was kicked out of that witness protection scheme when he continued to offend, and 10 years ago, he got a deportation order, right? So in 2015, he was supposed to be deported. He's still here, thanks to the right to family life under the Article 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights. Now, according to Lord Hermer, both of us, because we think this is wrong and we should leave it, are a pair of Nazis.
It's crazy. As I say, when you've lost the argument, you resort to name calling. But actually, it's a wider issue that the left like to tar us with these labels. They call us these things. But actually, you look at where the public is now. And you look at the polling. You look at those election results. To be an extremist, you'd have to be in a minority, in a fringe party. We're not a fringe party. We're not a minority. People are backing us in huge numbers, and the more people do so, the more confidence it will give others to come and join. I mean, just last night I was at speaking at a branch meeting in Surrey, which is an area they had their elections cancelled this year, disgracefully so. But the energy there, the excitement, they're chomping at the bit to get stuck in. They're doing their campaigning, they're knocking on doors, and they're finding, even in Surrey, which is perhaps a county that the Lib Dems might have won, but Reform would certainly have got a decent presence in that area, and they'll be looking to do that when those elections do come out. But I go around lots of places in London. we've spoke, I think, before about our poll that we had in London a few weeks ago. We're now the challengers to Labour in London. So we are not a fringe party, we're not extremists, and we certainly are not Nazis. We're standing up for hard-working British taxpayers who want a fair deal.
Yeah. Just one final thing. Robert Jenrick tackled some fare dodgers on the Underground yesterday. TfL have come out and said that he shouldn't have been doing that because they didn't give him permission. And secondly, they've said that they've advised their staff not to tackle anyone who tries to travel for free on the London Underground. That's just encourage more people to do it, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, this is an issue that I've already been looking at. I've submitted a number of written questions to the Mayor, trying to get a bit more information about the extent that this is going on, because I think TfL's figures that they've admitted to, where they say it's costing London taxpayers about £130 million a year, I think that's a massive underestimate. And so we're asking more questions. We're going to do more research and come back when we've got a clearer picture of what's happening overall, because I think it's much worse. But what Robert did yesterday was brilliant. That video, absolutely superb. And the idea that TfL and the TSSA union are just bleating that, oh well, he shouldn't have been there because he didn't have permission. The fact is, this is happening on a daily basis. You and I, when we go on the tube, we see it every single time, and the TfL staff just stand and watch, and it's ridiculous. It's symptomatic of a wider breakdown of trust in society and lawlessness, and someone's got to get a grip of it. And if Robert Jenrick wants to play a part in that, that's fantastic. He's made this issue go viral over the last 24 hours. So we're asking questions, we're trying to get more information, and we're going to be campaigning on it very hard as well. It's something that, like many things in London, the Mayor is silent, he's doing nothing, he's failing. Someone's got to take him to task on that. Yeah, absolutely right. He's too busy telling everyone they should decriminalise marijuana, isn't he? Alex, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. Alex Wilson, Reform UK's London Assembly member. Yeah, whenever I see on any general sort of level, apart from like big mainline stations, if you look at any like small station on the London Underground network, the only time you ever see anyone actually doing anything is when they're collecting money for charity. When they're standing with the bucket at the bottom of the escalator.